Hi, I'm Matt Bacon, and I am one of the lead financial advisors here at Carmichael Hill. And I wanted to give you a quick rundown between the differences on a fee-based advisor versus a fee-only advisor. And just a quick word on nomenclature, sometimes or frequently, fee-based advisors are also called hybrid advisors. And the reason for this is because they can act as both a salesperson and broker, or the middleman in a transaction for which they receive a commission, as well as acting as a fiduciary who advises you on the best thing to do in a particular situation, given the facts and information that they have. And one of the things that you should be aware of is that the salesperson role and the advisor role frequently take place in the same meeting. And it can sometimes be a little bit difficult to delineate between the two, because even though they might make all the required disclosures, the salesperson's hat and the advisor hat might come on and off at different points, and you're kind of having to keep track. So for an example, you might start a conversation in a fiduciary capacity with your advisor where they're laying out the use case for something like an annuity, which is a commissional product they would receive compensation for, not as a fee, but as a commission. And there may be a strong reason for you to have that annuity, which is why they have their financial advisor hat on, the fiduciary hat on. And then getting into the specifics of it, hey, I also think that you should buy, annuity A from company XYZ as opposed to annuity B from company ABC, right? And that can be a salesperson hat versus the use case for it, which is the advisor hat. And you might flip back and forth during that conversation about needing the annuity in the first place, if so, how much to go into it, and then which product to use. Back to the use case, it changes around a little bit. So it can be kind of hard to keep track of that. As long as you know the difference between when you're being sold and when you're being advised, this probably isn't really an issue or a problem. The thing that we've seen is that a lot of times, especially with some of the more complicated products, figuring out the difference between being sold and being advised gets kind of tricky and a little bit messy. The last thing to remember on this, and it's not true of every organization, but many broker-style organizations do have sales contests, and in some cases they even have quotas for certain products that the advisors need to sell. Okay, fee-only advisors tend not to have those kinds of conflicts of interest because there's nothing to sell. They only offer advice. They only offer the service. So there can be situations where those two things for those fee-based advisors, the commissions that they need to generate and the advice that they feel is best to give, may not necessarily align neatly. And again, as long as you understand the difference between being sold and being advised in a fiduciary capacity, may not be a problem. But if you're not quite sure or you just don't want to deal with that in the first place, then you might want to look for a fee-only advisor. There are more differences in this. These are just the high-level points. If you want a full breakdown on this, we can give it to you. We're here to help you. Full disclosure, we are a fee-only fiduciary RIA based in Maryland, and so we do have a little bit of a dog in the hunt as to which business model we feel is best. But there's nothing inherently wrong with either the fee-based or the fee-only model. They're just a little bit different. Contact us if you need help. We'd love to talk to you. Thanks.